Alright everyone, I must apologize for the wardrobe change in the middle of this how-to video. It seems as though somebody forgot to hit start on one of the segments that's pretty important, so I'm going to jump back in here and do that at this point. So at this point we're ready to prepare the lower, and part of preparing that lower is planning out where you're going to put things such as charge ports or phone charging ports with your battery indicators, things like that. You want to take a few minutes to lay out where they're going to be positioned in the box, keeping in mind how you want to lay out the inside of that box as well, where your battery placement is going to be, where your amplifier is going to be, where all of the wiring and so forth is going to be. And we can just take this one up real quick so you can see that this one is planned out so that all the wiring kind of meets up in the center in your lever connectors. So you want to have a vision of what that's going to look like when you decide to drill your holes, because once you drill the holes, they're there. Make sure you keep in mind things like latches, where they actually connect, come down and don't interfere. You don't want to wind up putting one up underneath here like I did my very first one because I didn't plan for it correctly. So take a little time to visualize where you're going to want your charge port, where you're going to want your phone charging ports, your switches, stuff like that. Have that in mind before you start drilling. And we'll get back to our regularly scheduled program now. Okay, so we talked a little bit about what we were going to do for the holes. First thing you want to do if you're going to use the vent is remove the vent plug. There's a little C-clip that you'll need to snap off of there, and then it just unscrews. You can use a pair of needle nose pliers, fingers, whatever it'll take to get it off. And then you're going to need your step bit and a drill. And you need to know what size hole to go to. So this is a 16 millimeter, so I'm going to the 5/8, and then we'll check it from there. You may need to go up to 11/16. These are not always 100%, so I always go one smaller. You can always take more out. You can add more back to it. Okay, so this drill bit does not go all the way through, so you will need to drill from the inside as well up to that point. And then we'll test our switch to see if it fits. That's going to be a snug fit, so I may need to go up to the next one. Okay, so we went up to the next size, and she'll fit down in there perfect now. We'll snug her in. If it has a seal on it, make sure that you leave that seal or put that seal on it. Some of them do, some of them do not. And then you just take the nut, put it on the inside. For you guys that are waterproofing, you'll put a little sealant around that as well. And we're going to do the same thing for the charge port. Remember, lay this thing out, position it where you want it. So I've got this one. If you see, when this is standing up and playing, charge port's going to be on the right hand side as you're looking at the speaker, down on the low side, so you can plug it in wherever it's playing. You don't want to charge and play at the same time though. I'm not suggesting that. Once your switch is installed, you can use, typically it's a 3/4 inch wrench or the metric equivalent, and snug that up. You don't want to over tighten that. You can use the wire loom plugged in to hold it in position. If you have one that's a directional type switch or something that has a logo on it where you want it to be straight up and down and not crooked, you can use the wiring harness to help snug that up. And then you're ready for the next one. We're going to be installing the port on this one, and typically what I like to do on these is because the box is going to be standing up. Most of the time while it's being played, you want to be able to see and charge from the top. I put mine here. You can do the side. You can do it in the lid. This is the part where it's up to you. This is your layout, your box. You do this however you want. This particular one is going to go right there, and I'm going to drill that hole and get that mounted. Okay, and now that we've got that one drilled, we can set it in place. There it is. Awesome.